I don't suffer, no be small. But say I get sense. Poverty no good at all. Now it make I join this business. For one night, no be it's once again. Everybody be there. If anybody follow Mugu, my brother, I go chopper. National airport, National stadium, President, my sister, brother, we be Mugu, I be the master. Oh, man, I go chop your dollar, I go take your money, disappear. For one time in the betty, you be the Mugu, I be the master. The refinery, let me get her. The contract, now you wife. But you must pay me some more money, make I bring her. You be the Mugu, I be the master. When you go play one, they go say that you style. When countryman do you go, they know the shots. Kill it. Whatever you go ban is greedy. I say, I don't see them fire. That's why when they run enter my terrible, I go show them fire. National airport, National stadium, President, my sister, brother, you be the Mugu, I be the master. The refinery, the contract, now you wife. But you must pay me some more money than I bring up. You be the Mugu, I be the master. Now me be the master, oh. I hear you.
And it is right there. You be the Mugu and I be the master. So nothing changes. You be the Mugu and I'll be the master. So yes, a short little afternoon session. I've got a 10-minute video clip. I've got a 10-minute clip that I'd like to react to. It's from Segun Olo, Objective TV. So he's done this rather interesting little take about the El Rufai SDP narrative, and is hinting that all might not be as it appears to be. So we're going to go into that space, see what Segun has to say, and then see if we're in accordance with this. I've not really watched it fully, but then Segun, of course, is always well researched. So we bring up the clip now. We watch through what he has to say, and we see what we're making of it. If you want to run commentaries, the link in the comment section. If not, then not. You know, click on like, click on subscribe, all of those things. If you're willing to do that, do that. So let's just get straight into it. There's no messing about with this one. We get straight into it. And this is Segun Olo of Objective TV Media giving us his perspective on the El Rufai defection to the SDP. So let's pick it up from the beginning.
The question is, who are those people you see there? A throwback video, mind you. A throwback video. In 2023, I told you guys, those in power already created multiple parties then for future purposes. And the ones that were created genuinely as opposition before, they didn't have enough fund to maintain them. So they gave contracts out to take over the parties, be running these parties on the background, funding it. When I said that in 2023, that LUP was a grand game by APC to split PDP, some people abuse me. I'm not saying Peter Obi is a bad man.
So, sorry, I was speaking not knowing I was muted. What Shegun was saying there is right, whether wittingly or unwittingly. Peter Obi in the 2023 election was actually acting on behalf of Tinubu, and a good 40% of what propelled Tinubu into Aso Rock is all accountable and attributable to Peter Obi. There's no equivocation about that. All of the numbers tell us that. All the votes in the Southeast went to Peter Obi, traditionally goes to the PDP. If you look at the margins, all the Plateau states, the FCTs and all these little pickups that I picked up, so all of that went to Peter Obi. If you look at the figures in Lagos, by the way, I don't think quite the PDP got up to 50,000 votes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can check the figures, but just by guesstimation, I don't think the PDP got quite up to 50,000 votes in Lagos State. An abundance of them went to Peter Obi. So whether he was knowingly doing it or unwittingly being co-opted, being led by an arrogance of ignorance, whatever it was, Peter Obi was singularly Tinubu's biggest agent in 2023. And that is exactly what Shegun Olo is saying here. Shegun Olo, of course, Objective Media.
The question is, who are those people you see there? A throwback video, mind you. A throwback video. In 2023, I told you guys, those in power already created multiple parties. Then for future purposes. And the ones that were created genuinely as opposition before, they didn't have enough fund to maintain them. So they gave contracts out to take over the parties, be running these parties on the background, funding it. When I said that in 2023, that LUP was a grand game by APC to split PDP, some people abuse me. I'm not saying Peter Obi is a bad man. Peter Obi is not a bad man. Just as Benga Daniel is not a bad man. Just as Atiku is not a bad man. Just as Wike is not a bad man. And just as Tinubu is not a bad man. Everybody just choose their own good men. Hello. They are not bad. It's just their game. Okay.
Just to pause it there, yet what Shegun is saying as well, the tribalized approach of the followership of political big players, political juggernaut, is somewhat askew within the Nigerian paradigm. The tribalism, the tribal, and I'm not even talking about Igbo Yoruba, but I'm talking about tribe, like your football club is your tribe, so Arsenal is your tribe for my case, Newcastle, etc. So the tribalized sort of fanaticism that follows the political big players within the Nigerian paradigm is somewhat askew as to what is going on. There's nothing possible. It's a game to these people. It's a game of power. It's a game of thrones. And people are playing their best moves in order to attain the number one position. It's nothing personal. We've seen countless examples of social events where all of these where all of these are political opponents, all of these political antagonists, all the proponents, all the main players, all the political enemies, they gather, click, champagne glasses, and have a good time. It's not personal to them. You have the position, I want it. I'm going to do everything to get you out of it. and I will do everything I can to retain it. That's entirely what it's all about. Tinubu can, Peter Obi can pick up the phone right as I'm speaking to you now, phone Tinubu, who I'm sure he has a personal number for, and say, my friend, what's going on? XYZ and they have a conversation even outside of politics, whatever. So these people have personal connects outside of the political tribalism that seems to agitate their followership. And that is where Segun Law is speaking to.
When I said that in 2023, that LUP was a grand game by APC to split PDP, some people abuse me. I'm not saying Peter Obi is a bad man. Peter Obi is not a bad man. Just as Benga Daniel is not a bad man. Just as Atiku is not a bad man. Just as Wike is not a bad man. And just as Tinubu is not a bad man. Everybody just choose their own good men. Hello. They are not bad. It's just their game.
Just on another thing that Segun said right there, everybody chooses their own good men. So that's fair enough. You choose as you align, because it's a very, very personal thing, how you politic your politics. Very, very personal, very, very individualized, often devoid of logic. It's a bit like falling in love, actually. It's unquantifiable. It cannot be mathematics. So however you choose your politics is entirely down to your picadillo. But how politics is chosen in Nigeria is often a good 80-90% of how politics is followed, practiced, perpetrated, and agitated for within the Nigerian paradigm. It follows mainly two strap lines: ethnicity, religion. And that is really the undoing. Nobody has ever politicked in Nigeria based on national interest. No, nobody gives a FUCK about the country. My tribe, if you suffer like you've never suffered before in the entirety of your life, we saw it under Malam Buhari, by the way. If you suffer like you've never suffered before in the entirety of your life, so long as your tribesman is there, you will still defend him to the hilt. And that is how to the hilt. And that is how Nigerian politics is practiced.
That LUP was a grand game by APC to split PDP. Some people abuse me. I'm not saying Peter Obi is a bad man. Peter Obi is not a bad man. Just as Benga Daniel is not a bad man. Just as Atiku is not a bad man. Just as Wike is not a bad man. And just as Tinubu is not a bad man. Everybody just choose their own good men. Hello. They are not bad. It's just their game. Okay. You start hearing the language again now. Coalition, normal thing. When I said this in 2023, and I don't abuse me, tire, but I refuse to shake. The only thing is I just said I'll no longer.
And by the way, what Segun is saying there also applies to him equally as well. He's a Showore man, and there is nothing in logic that argues for Showore being the best fit. Because like somebody aptly said, actually the person super chatting Babati, like he said in one of the previous sessions, Showore is still very much stuck in his student union days.
Talk about it, but your eyes go clear. They have started the game again. In 2023, the game was that they knew Igbos will not vote for APC. They knew that Igbos will not vote APC. When you go back home after work, they analyze the day. In the night, they scheme the next thing before you wake up. They are nocturnal beings, these people. And guess what? They knew Igbos were angry and will not vote APC. So they have to look for somebody that Igbos would like to divert their votes for. The idea is
You know, there's a part of me, and a very strong part of me, that feels that Peter Obi is a witty Mandarin in this three-dimensional chess play that is an important piece of. Because there's no part of me that believes that Peter Obi has any thoughts that he could ever become the Nigerian president. There is even he cannot be that dumb. Nobody on this planet is that stupid. There's no part of Peter Obi that believes that he, either in 2023 or at any point in time in the entirety of his life, could ever become the Nigerian president. He knows he cannot. So there are only two things that can be propelling Peter Obi. He is either, and I'm not sure he's clever enough to happen upon this particular strategy, is either trying to create a political base, a political bloc as a leverage point for negotiation, either for his people or for his personal interest. There's nothing in Peter Obi that is campaigning to be the Nigerian president. So it's either trying to create a political movement as a negotiating base, there's that possibility, or he's a witting agent of the Tinubu APC trajectory. So it's one of those two spaces. So it lends more to Peter Obi actually being a witting agent of the Tinubu trajectory, the APC strapline. It's not even the APC, it's more of a southern strategy. Because Peter Obi contending that 2023 elections, he knew as soon as he announced his candidature that entirely the Southeast is out of play. So as soon as he announced his candidature, the Southeast goes with him. We saw that in the figures when it was the vice under article. So he knew he commanded that full voting bloc. So as he came in then, the Southeast goes with him, but he knows that he's not going to be president. So if the Southeast does go with him, if you remove the Southeastern numbers from the Nigerian presidential race, then how does that impact? It only really impacts negatively on the PDP. So, and that was the strategy. So that was how Peter Obi propelled Tinubu into Aso Rock, whether he did it wittingly or not. And there's a strong part of me that feels that he did do it wittingly. And it's still on that job.
That they knew Igbos will not vote for APC. They knew that Igbos will not vote APC. When you go back home after work, they analyze the day. In the night, they scheme the next thing before you wake up. They are nocturnal beings, these people. And guess what? They knew Igbos were angry and will not vote APC. So they have to look for somebody that Igbos would like to divert their votes for. The idea is so that PDP will not get the votes. So they needed somebody to sink the votes. So when the idea of Peter Obi came up, whether Peter Obi knew about it, or he was just trying to be a good man to create an alternative for Igbos or for people who are looking for difference, whether he knows or he doesn't know, I don't want to see anything about it. All I know is that APC now took the gear and the steering from behind, and they were walking. When we said it, you abused us, but later you started seeing that the hand of APC was in LUP. Maybe you later saw it by yourself. At that time, we don't keep quiet. We don't talk again. We don't talk again. We can't look. Shine your eyes. They don't start again. This time, they are going to the north. When somebody told you he was an accidental public servant, it means he was unpicked to go and do a job at that time. All this, whether Akpabio, Rufai, Donyokupe, LUP, all those guys, they are Obasanjo people now. When you see these people, you're supposed to say, now game of Tinubu and Obasanjo, you see they see so. Akpabio is Obasanjo's candidate in Tinubu's government, allegedly new. In other words, after the game, we didn't take LUP play finish between Tinubu and Obasanjo, the reward for Obasanjo is, what do you want? This is my candidate. He is going to be your Senate president. Game over. You hear anything from Obasanjo again since that time? Now politics.
We hear a lot of from Obasanjo anyway, and what Shegun said just right there, that may be conspiracy theory taken too far. There is no part of me. I do not see Akpabio as either Obasanjo's boy or anybody's boy for that matter. I think it's a standalone politician of his own speed, of his own steam.
El Rufai is still one of Obasanjo's agents again. Now the North is angry with APC, with Tinubu's government. They are going to bring somebody that will deceive the North too and make it look like he is trying to help the North. Again, the same way I said it for Obi, I'll say it for El Rufai. El Rufai too may not know that the hand of APC is in the SDP. Let me put.
No, I would have to disagree with Shegun right there. Shegun doesn't know that SDP is a Tinubu party being bankrolled by Tinubu. Tinubu has owned that party since pretty much the 80s. Here is Tinubu right here. I'm not quite sure when this was. 1980 whatever. This was 1993 when Tinubu was running as a senator under SDP. So Tinubu has always owned that party, and you know, when they were giving him a hard time during the presidential primaries, he told us that, look, I am going to run irrespective whether if I don't get the ticket on our APC, I will go to SDP. So SDP has always been owned by Tinubu pretty much since the 80s, certainly since the early 90s. So SDP very much a Tinubu-owned party.
That way, like the same way I spoke innocence for Obi in LP, I'll use the same assumption of innocence for El Rufai too and SDP. So the assumption of innocence of Obi when it was in LP, that it was innocent, he didn't know that it was the APC's hand that was behind LP. Even though we all know Obi was not a member of LP, it was an overnight game that took him there. I will also pretend I didn't know that it was APC game. I will pretend, but you shall later uncover by yourselves that APC and the LP. Watch out very soon. They will start to make SDP loud. The same way they started making LP loud. Influential see them go the cross. They will begin, not be only Rufai and not be only SDP. There's still going to be another cross carpeting. Many people will still go to another party under the guys that they are looking for opposition against APC or alliance against APC ahead of 2027. There will still be more, not only Rufai. Towards the 2027 election, most of them will still merge again. They'll say, no, we can't defeat APC by standing 1-1-1 like that. No, we cannot do it. Let us now merge. Let us now merge. There's still going to be, just like, you remember CUPP in our COP, Coalition of United Political Parties, or what did you call that at that time? 2019. There's still going to be something like that. Now, still APC game. That's still APC game, guys. Not only Rufai. You go see cross carpeting go yapa ahead of.
You see, Shegun is right in what he's saying, but he may not, like he said, Obi was unwitting. He may not be wittingly in that space of being right in what he's saying. I'm not sure that I'm entirely on board that all of this thing is some high-level functioning APC orchestration. I'm not sure that I'm fully on board with that. There are elements of orchestration, but a lot of it also organic, a lot of it desperate politicians wanting the last throw of the dice, people like Atiku Abubakar, he knows that this is his last window of opportunity ever. Peter Obi knows this is his last window of opportunity ever. So there are a lot of desperate politicking going on, and that desperate politic is permutating to permutate towards what it sees as its best chance. And that is a lot of that is part of what we are seeing going on. That is not to say that the orchestrations, the machinations, the Machiavellian maneuverings of the APC is not in play. No. But it's to say that it's a lot more nuanced than that. It's very simplistic just to say, oh, Jagaban. A lot of people actually give Tinubu too much attribution, actually, like it's some godlike grandmaster of everything. No, yes, he is solid, but not perhaps to the level that Shegun is describing here.
2027. All those also you see for Twitter, they throw shades at one another now. Now game no go follow. Damn, this one don't abuse him. This one don't abuse her back. Now lie you. I just say my yarn you. Now hints, but I not go talk everything. Now it is the North that is angry with Tinubu. That is angry with APC. So they have to look for somebody that the North likes. Plant him in a party and say, oh yeah, all of you, oh yeah, you're angry with APC, you will not vote APC.
If that strategy was true, then El Rufai is not the candidate. So El Rufai is not somebody that the North likes. I don't think anybody especially cares about El Rufai in the North. He is in some cusp of intellectualized Northern, whatever, but is not anybody's favorite. It is certainly not popular amongst the Talakawas, who constitutes the abundance of the voting base of the northern space, and it's not popular amongst the mullahs in either, so I don't agree with Shegun on that.
Oh yeah, go and vote, waste your vote, waste it there. Oh yeah, you are not happy with APC, you are angry with, oh yeah, you to follow this one, go and waste your votes there. Don't therefore come and hate me because of people who are seeing themselves midnight. No, playing games. When Igbos were angry with Buhari and APC and would not vote Tinubu, they went and funded a party and put somebody that will divert all of you and go and sink your votes so that it will not be useful for PDP. They don't bring SDP again. Now that the North is angry with Tinubu. Who are the funders now of SDP? I know the game. Ignorant people who don't know the game are hating me and fighting me for it. So let me just keep quiet. I will only be fighting for policy amendment.
All right. So what Shegun is saying there is that El Rufai crossing over to the SDP. It actually works for the Tinubu re-election strategy, or the Tinubu re-election possibility. El Rufai would die because you have to be sure that the PDP will present a candidate and they will present a northern candidate. So if El Rufai is on a ticket with the SDP, it dilutes then whatever votes that northern candidate from the PDP will present. So now we could now have a 3-prong or even a 4-prong play. So we could have, of course, we already have Shetima, Tinubu running for re-election. So we have that prong. And we have the PDP, which was once upon a time the biggest political party in Africa. So you have the expectation that they will be presenting as well, and they will be presenting a northern candidate. So we have that as well. So you have the SDP that with El Rufai now there, Al Mustafa also crossed over. So there's every possibility that they will have a northern tilt. So if Peter Obi does not go on, if he decides to stick it out with the Labour Party, then you have Obi on one ticket with a dirty Baba-like character from the north, like a sidekick from the north. Then you have El Rufai and one other, whatever the mix is in the SDP. Then you have the PDP, either Atiku or one other, Bala Mohammed and Minu Tambuwal, one of them. So you have that, and then you have Tinubu, Shetima. So you have a 4-horse race. So the only thing that remains constant is the Tinubu space. Well, maybe a little bit the Peter Obi as well. Maybe he'll hold on to maybe about 60% of the votes that he carried. Because I'm saying Peter Obi will hold on to about 60% of the votes that he carried in 2023. Because a lot of a good 60% of Peter Obi's vote in 2023, they were special purpose votes. They were the end-SARS voters who would have grown up a little bit more now to be a lot more nuanced. There was the Muslim, Christian votes, which is no longer available to him now in 2027. There was a lot of anti-Buhari, so there was a lot of anti-votes that packed into that particular cycle. And a lot of those anti-votes, ANTI, a lot of those anti-votes are just single short deals. So they don't carry through to 2027. So Peter Obi will hemorrhage all of those. But then has he been able to, and he will hemorrhage a lot from the South as well, especially with all of the developments that Tinubu is putting there. At the South, of course, they know they have a possibility of a vice position in 2031. And they see all of their sons are in the cabinet, and Tinubu is building them one of the biggest infrastructures in Africa with the Lagos-Calabar superhighway. So there's a lot that moves vote from the South away from Peter Obi. So Obi will hemorrhage a lot of votes, but he will still carry those. So if you have all of these other opposition votes chopped up into bits, the northern votes diluted by El Rufai going to the SDP, Peter Obi continuing the dilution of holding on to the southeastern votes, Tinubu hemorrhages and gains whichever votes, maybe he loses, gains 10% either way. It still very much pans out pretty much as a Tinubu return.
Or policy progress. To say, okay, in all of your games, try and do this one for people. In all of your games, just try and do this one. That's my interest. So I became Ajip. Any government in power, I don't care. All I care about is what are you doing while you are there. Because I'll still see no difference between El Rufai and Tinubu. I'll still see no difference between Tinubu and Atiku. I'll still see no difference between Atiku. The only difference would be maybe one is outside, the other is Igbo, another one is Yoruba, and maybe this one would have done it this way or that way. Do you think these people don't talk every day? All this while you see them going to court, you think Tinubu and Atiku don't talk? Or you think LUP and Tinubu are not neighbors in Ikoyi? While you are looking at SDP, LUP, and the ones that they are PPPing up, that they are prepping up, while you're still looking at that, you are not looking at the bigger picture, which is even the INEC. You are ignoring the bigger picture. INEC still they wait for you. You go see Shaggy. Banza. All this Elu Rufai that you are talking about today, they are not the issue. They are not the issue. They were together yesterday, pretending to be separated today. We'll still work their way together tomorrow. They will now be telling you no permanent enemies in politics. Now you be mumu now. Last, you are distracted from what you are even supposed to be looking at. INEC. That one on the eve of election, we will come begin talk about that one. On the eve of election will remain 2 days. Now you will come begin remember. Oh, wait to INEC. INEC, you go down late.
All right. So that was right there. That was Shegun Olo. If anybody wants to come in, by the way, if anybody wants to come in, by the way, come in. It's going to be a very short session. I'm going to play one more clip and then possibly shut it down after that. But that was Shegun Olo of Objective Media giving us his unique perspective on the interplays within the political realignments that we're seeing going on. So that was Segun Olo, or Objective Media. So that was Segun Olo. Let's go on from there to this one. So this one now, this guy, we've been following him for a very long time. Is a Southeastern guy, but a unique and peculiar Southeastern guy, because he's not subsumed by the ethnic Nzobo jingoism that usually afflicts that space. He tries to speak truth to that space. And once you try to speak once you try to speak truth to the Southeast, the response is to attempt to behead you. So here he is now, after several attempts to behead him. Here he is now alarming to the space.
Stop coming to my page. Stop commenting. Don't even follow me. It has become clear to me that regardless of what you do to sensitize our people, to liberate our people from the shackles of ignorance, every day, the number of ignorant people, the number of stupid people among the Igbos continues to grow. Please, I am begging you in the name of God. If you know that you don't have a firm grip of your emotion, don't come to my page. Don't comment. Don't follow me. My page, Ichake Eziokwu, is not for foolish people. Ichake Eziokwu is not for people that have given their life to ignorance. People that have sworn to live and die for ignorance. Ichake Eziokwu is where we argue to learn. My page is not for tribal bigotry or for religious bigotry. My page is for people who are ready to learn. My page is for Nigerians who are willing to relate with other Nigerians, regardless of their tribe. Before I started criticizing Governor Soludo was in deep sleep. I began to criticize Soludo purposely to wake him up to security reality of Anambra State, because I noticed that nobody was talking. All the Igbo bloggers would be there praising Soludo when insecurity was eating up the state. And when I decided to criticize Soludo, some of our Igbo brothers started talking rubbish. I don't like anything about Igbo. Look at Anambra State, for instance. The size of Anambra State is just about.
And that is what we find, actually, what that guy just said right there. If anybody, especially somebody from the Southeast, if he or she tries to speak truth to that space, they'll accuse that person immediately of self-hate. It's a truth adverse sort of. They don't like anything that sembles like the truth. All they want is to circle wagon and tribal chant. That is all, and make up all these fantastical stories. Do you remember Nnamdi Kanu with his Jubril at Sudan and the shallow graves in Saudi Arabia, and then Tinubu was buried in a underground car park in Colombia? That's what they like. They don't want anything to do with truth or fact or self-inflection. None of that. All they just want is to wear their grass skirt and circle dance round a campfire, chanting tribal war chants. That is the entirety of it. Just a very tribal people.
Tribe. Before I started criticizing Governor Soludo was in deep sleep. I began to criticize Soludo purposely to wake him up to security reality of Anambra State, because I noticed that nobody was talking. All the Igbo bloggers would be there praising Soludo when insecurity was eating up the state. And when I decided to criticize Soludo, some of our Igbo brothers started talking rubbish. I don't like anything about Igbo. Look at Anambra State, for instance. The size of Anambra State is just about 4,500 kilometers square, whereas the size of Niger State is about 76,000 kilometers square. The size of Anambra State is about the size of one local government in Niger State. Yes. And you are telling me that 7 governors since 1999 to date. Anambra State is still massively backward. Anambra State is still massively undeveloped. And we are here blaming the federal government. Niger State has 25 local governments. Divide 25 by 76,000. It will give you approximately 3,000 kilometers square. And you know that there are some local governments in Niger State that are more than 2,000 the size of Anambra State. 7 governors in 20-something years. Mbadnuju, Ngige, Peter Obi, Vijay Tiaba, Andoba, Willow Biano, and Soludo cannot develop Anambra State the size of one local government. And our people are saying I should not talk.
You know, just what that guy is saying there, people make all of these recommendations that it is the turn of the Southeast, that Peter Obi is this, that, and the other. But go through the entirety of the Southeast and point to me one area that is even the semblance of being developed there. It's just a den of iniquity. The entirety of the space is just a total waste. You know, for all of the countless, endless billions of dollars that the Nigerian state has invested in that space, the whole place is worse than Borno. And they are telling us then that a sample from there is the best fit for the Nigerian state. You know, so you cannot even fix your own space, but you're asking us to hand over the whole of the country to you.
1,000 kilometers square. And you know that there are some local governments in Niger State that are more than 2,000 the size of Anambra State. 7 governors in 20-something years. Mbadnuju, Ngige, Peter Obi, Vijay Tiaba, Andoba, Willow Biano, and Soludo cannot develop Anambra State the size of one local government. And our people are saying I should not talk. Don't come. Stop coming to my page. What is wrong with you people? Fuck off, man.
And it is right there. Fuck off, man. That's what he said. The frustration of it, of course. So that was him right there. We follow that guy fairly regularly, only really because it's a rarity. A Southeasterner that owns his own truth. It's not often that you come across that. So I will bring you clips of this guy fairly regularly. So that constitutes the total. Oh, I was just about to build. Comrade Omoruye, good to see you. I was just about to shut it down. Let's hear from you, and then we'll shut it down. Comrade, you there, Omoruye? Oh, so, and there he is. He dropped. So that's so that was it for today. Not today. That was it for the afternoon session. We meet again in the evening. Have a long and extended session as we usually do. But let me wrap it up here. So I'll leave it here. Meet you later in the evening. But here I say peace.